I'm gonna start by reading something. Just to focus myself, my thoughts. What the fuck? 20 seconds already. Did I? Alright, I'm gonna read you just a couple of things from The Secret Doctrine by Helena Blavatsky. Helena Petrovna Blavatsky. Death is unable to deliver man from suffering, since death is merely the door through which he passes to another life on earth after a little rest on its threshold. Devachan. The Hinayana and Mahayana schools of Buddhism both teach the same doctrine. Yana, or vehicle, in Sanskrit it's Vahan, is a mystic expression. Both of these vehicles inculcating that man may escape the sufferings of rebirth and even the false bliss of Devachan, of what was previously stated, the rest on the threshold of non-life. Well, it's not non-life, you're still alive, but after death, before coming back. We escape this suffering by obtaining wisdom and knowledge, which one alone can dispel the fruits of illusion and ignorance. Maya, or illusion, is an element which enters into all finite things. All things, we are finite. For everything that exists has only a relative, not absolute reality. Also note the word relative. Family. All things are relative. All things are related. All things are family. Nothing is permanent except the one hidden absolute existence, which contains in itself the noumena of all realities. Noumena being without phenomenal aspect. Phenomena, noumena. Like an idea, you could say it as an idea in this context. The existences belonging to every plane of being, up to the highest Dhyan Chohans, are in degree. A Dhyan Chohan is just, how do we put it in this context? It's essentially, you don't need to know, it's just put it aside. All existing things, all existences is what we're talking about. The existences that belong to every plane of being are in a degree of the nature of shadows cast by a lantern on a colourless screen. Or more apt in our time, it's like the film, the light that is projected onto a film screen. Actually, I wanna say that a little bit clearer. If I was to ask you, when you go to a movie theater, do you need a particular screen to play like Shrek 2 on, as opposed to a particular screen that you would play like Shutter Island on? And assuming you know a little bit about how projection works, you would say no Dylan, no razegod. You don't need a special screen to play different movies. The screen is always the same. It's the light that's projected onto that screen that determines what movie appears, whether you get Shrek or whether you get Shutter Island. And this is the example we're given here. It's all experience, all being is like this. It's like light cast onto emptiness. We're almost done with the reading part. So I'll restate that last bit. The existences belonging to every plane of being are in degree of the nature of shadows cast by a lantern on a colourless screen. But all things are relatively real, for the cognizer is also a reflection, and the things cognized are therefore as real to him as himself. Alright, I'm going to leave the reading there and get into the motherfucking thanking. For the cognizer is a reflection. Shadow. These are all very interesting topics in my eye. I actually want to ask you a question before I move on. I watch a lot of lectures. They're not necessarily all on these matters. Sometimes they're on like psychology, etc. And I was thinking of maybe starting just live streaming myself watching these, so that if you wanted, you could watch along and learn with me, because I think the things that I research are they're important to know by anyone. You know what I'm saying? For everyone to know in order to understand ourselves and the world better. So I was thinking I might start doing that. If you think that would be something, if you saw pop up, you would click on and watch for a while, let me know in the comments. But yeah, I'm gonna just jump back to thinking about what we were just talking about. The point I wanted to get, I guess. So the last thing I said, the cognizer, so that us, the one who is perceiving reality through which our cognition creates an experience. This is us we're talking about, essentially, the cognizer. The cognizer is also a reflection. So what do we mean when we say reflection? I'm going to use a mirror as a very obvious metaphor. What is in the mirror is whatever you face the mirror at. It's very straightforward. But this statement aligned with this text, I feel like it's a very powerful key. For the cognizer is a reflection. We are reflections of the world. And with that in mind, knowing our malleability, our plasticity, if we want to change ourselves, then all we have to do in this light is to point the mirror at something else. Now, what's the mirror? Well, the mirror is the thing that is reflecting, as is the cognizer. But how do we get more specific here? What is this metaphorical mirror that we apparently are, and how do we change the angle? Actually, I think that's a good jumping off point. I can read you one more thing here that will maybe unveil a bit more of what the fuck I'm talking about. This is a more poetic part, but I'll explain it. The universe, a web whose upper end is fastened to spirit, the light of darkness, and the lower one to its shadowy end, matter, is spun out of two substances made one, svabhavat. This is the universe. So in this poetic kind of dualistic analogy, we have the universe as a metaphor being spun from the top hand, spirit, fastened to the bottom hand, matter, and out of these two, a web, which is the universe, manifests. Now, in this light, the material world world, the shadowy end, is the phenomena, the phenomenistic end, the world of experience, illusion, Maya, or the relative reality. What we can say, well, we can give an example of spirit in this aspect being therefore noumena, which was referenced earlier, or either logos, to reference Plato, idea, to give it a modern concept, just the idea without phenomenistic or sensational aspect, without, well, it's still conception. But anyway, I'm getting too far off the subject. What I'm trying to say is that the universe as we know it, the world as we know it, is spun from mind. I'm going to call it mind in this point, and matter. Matter is cast from mind. If we return now to the mirror analogy, if we understand matter cast from mind, and the reflection of the mirror is what you pointed at, then what you contain within the mind is the direction of the mirror. What you place within the sight of the mirror that it then reflects in the person is what you place within the mind. And what is within the mind spins the shadow of the material world. This is, if you're into this type of esoteric knowledge, this is going to be so interesting. If you're not, it's going to sound like a lot of bullshit. But understand me when I say this. These are the keys to the universe to me. Quite honestly. Mind and what we focus within it casts our realities, casts our experience into material. What first man holds in his mind becomes manifest no matter what. But what can one hold in his mind? What determination and will is required to hold or focus anything? I don't know. I don't know at all. I don't know anything. And in that lies my wisdom.